Cookie Miller, and this is Worth the Wait. Join me every week as I explore profound weight loss solutions beyond just diet and exercise, because a lifestyle change starts with changing your mind. Hey guys, I just wanted to pop in to remind you all that, of course, I am not a medical doctor and this is not medical advice. I am just sharing my personal experience with hormonal imbalance as well as the experiences of some of my clients. So if you think that you may have some of these issues going on, be sure to always consult with your physician. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Worth the Wait. I'm your host, Cookie Miller, and today we're talking about how hormonal birth control can seriously impact weight and hormone balance. Now, this episode is going to be for my ladies, especially my ladies who are over 30. You've struggled with yo-yo dieting and unexplained weight gain. I have personally been there. I'm someone who has endometriosis. I was previously on birth control to try to assist with that, so I have my own story behind this. And in fact, I think one of my first episodes, maybe episode 1 or 2, was about my experience with my IUD. And it came from a video that I did on YouTube a few years ago. So you can either watch the YouTube video version or you can listen to the podcast episode version. But I go into great detail about my particular story, and you may find that some of that sounds familiar to you. So if you are someone who is struggling with your weight and you're on birth control, or you previously have been on birth control, I want to take this opportunity to validate you that you're not crazy, you're not alone if you suspect that your birth control method is undermining your weight loss. So let's go ahead and get into the science and the solutions. Now, what prompted me to record an episode on this topic was actually the Netflix show Painkiller, which reveals how drug companies prioritize profits over people when marketing to doctors. Now, in this particular show, it was about the drug OxyContin, which is produced by a big pharmaceutical company called Purdue Pharma. And while I was watching this show, it immediately reminded me of another large pharmaceutical company that had similar practices in the late 2000s, but this was particularly for an IUD. And I can remember walking into my doctor's office, I would see nurses and some other doctors who had these bedazzled IUDs from this particular company. And seeing those, it was enough to prompt me to at least ask my nurse or my doctor at the time about what it was. And that was the idea, that was the point, that was the marketing of it all. So the problem is that many of the potential benefits have been discussed from my doctor or have been discussed with me. However, the severity of the side effects were not. And that's where we're running into problems. So while birth control can serve an important purpose for some people, some methods do come with side effects that are worth understanding, especially for us women who are at this point over 30 and our hormones are naturally fluctuating. So in order to understand how birth control can be impacting you, you have to understand your naturally occurring hormone, progesterone. It is a hormone that's naturally made by the ovaries. It helps us to balance and regulate our menstrual cycles. And it has so many important health benefits when in balance with estrogen. When you use a hormonal IUD, you are more than likely getting the synthetic version of this hormone called progestin. And the problem with progestin is that, again, it's a synthetic version of progesterone, which is created in a lab, and it's used in hormonal birth controls like pills, IUDs, implants, and shots. So this is not only about IUDs. Other forms of birth control tend to have this synthetic hormone in them as well. So while it's similar, progestin and progesterone are not identical. There are some key differences, which include the fact that progesterone tends to bind to receptor sites all over the body, like the brain, the breast, and the uterus, versus progestin, which primarily binds to the uterus. Progestin may also not provide the full scope of health benefits as natural progesterone, like bone health, mood support, and libido regulation. And progesterone levels may vary each cycle. Progestin creates a continuous static level of hormones without having that natural fluctuation. When progesterone is out of balance, it can lead to issues like fatigue, weight gain, and anxiety. And progestin also is going to create side effects like these for many women. Now, in order for you to understand how birth control may be impacting you, you first have to understand progesterone. Progesterone is a hormone naturally made by the ovaries that helps balance and regulate the menstrual cycle. So it has so many important health benefits when it is in balance with estrogen. Progestin, on the other hand, is a synthetic version of progesterone, which is created in a lab, and it is used in hormonal birth controls like the pill, IUDs, implants, and shots. So we're not just talking about IUDs, we're talking about many other forms of birth control. Now, while similar, progestin and progesterone are not identical. So some key differences include that progesterone is going to bind to receptor sites all over the body, like the brain, the breast, and the uterus, versus progestin, which primarily binds to the uterus. Progestin may not provide the full scope of health benefits as the natural progesterone. Some of those benefits would include bone health, mood support, and libido regulation. So progesterone levels tend to vary each cycle versus progestin, which is going to create this continuous kind of static level of hormones without the natural fluctuations. So when progesterone is out of balance, it can lead to issues like fatigue, weight gain, and anxiety, meaning if you're experiencing these symptoms prior to getting on hormonal birth control, slapping a Band-Aid like progestin on it may not even work. In fact, it may worsen your symptoms. So instead, the focus should have been on balancing your ratio of progesterone to estrogen, all of which can be done with things like supplementation and lifestyle adjustments for some people, right? Everybody's body is different. But the lie that we're generally told about birth control is that it may balance our hormones on its own, that it is going to be some sort of miracle solution to hormone imbalance. And that's just not the case usually, and it's not the case for everyone. It's marketed as a miracle solution to hormone imbalance, but there are thousands of women who are currently on or have previously been on birth control that would say otherwise. If you're gaining weight with your hormones out of sync, it can feel impossible to lose that weight. So I want to give you a few tips. One thing that you can do, of course, is ask your doctor about some non-hormonal birth control alternatives, but I would also say to do your research there as well. If you're thinking about things like the copper IUD, for example, copper can cause an inflammatory response in the body for some people, so that may not be the best option, but it could be a better option than the hormonal birth control. Also, making sure that you're following a well-balanced diet, that you're eating mostly whole foods so that your blood sugar is nice and balanced. Making sure that you're working on reducing your stress or just managing your stress better with things like yoga and meditation, and then prioritizing your sleep and treating issues like insomnia. You know, if you're having a hard time sleeping, if you're not getting quality sleep, that can certainly disrupt your hormones. And so making sure that you're getting a solid amount of sleep and deep enough sleep is also important. And then taking supplements that are going to support your hormone balance. I like magnesium glycinate, and also making sure that you have a good, very well-rounded B vitamin could be something that you focus on as well. Making sure that you're not only tracking your calories or not only looking at your calories, but looking at the quality of the foods. Making sure that you're eating foods that have nutrients that are going to benefit your hormone health. And that can be things like making sure that you're getting in enough healthy fats from foods like fish, avocados, and nuts and seeds. And I know that trying to lose weight while you're dealing with hormonal imbalance can already be so hard to do. And sometimes you're tempted to do something very extreme just to see the scale move. But I want you to know that that could backfire, right? So you want to make sure that you're avoiding anything that's extreme or overly restrictive, especially when it comes to diets. These things can backfire and worsen your hormone imbalance. So make sure that you're making small, sustainable changes over time. And lastly, if you have underlying issues like thyroid problems or PCOS, or if you have endometriosis like me, you want to focus on addressing the root cause and know that you can get your hormones and your weight back on track with patience and support. So do not give up hope. I have been in your shoes dealing with endometriosis on my own, having been on birth control twice. I've been through 2 different IUDs. And now I finally feel like I'm at a place where I can actually just live my normal life and my hormones are not stopping me. They're balanced. I don't feel completely crazy, right? I mean, these are things that you have to continuously work on, but I have to say it's a night and day difference from where I was before I even went on to birth control, when I was originally having the symptoms that prompted me to ask about it. And both times when I was on birth control, this is still the best that I've ever felt. If you think that your current or past use of birth control may have contributed to your weight gain and you're looking for one-on-one help, please reach out to me via Instagram DM, or you can submit an application at cookiemiller.com. I'd love to talk to you, get to know a little bit more about your situation and what's going on, and see if myself and my team might be able to help you. I'll take this opportunity also to kind of respond to a comment that I had gotten on Instagram where I posted about this topic, and someone said, why can't you just tell us what the answers are? And I want to let you guys know that when it comes to myself and even other people, mostly like medical doctors, functional medical doctors who are in this space, when we're creating content for you guys online or we're creating content in podcast format, our goal is to help you as much as possible. And it's not that we're trying to withhold some kind of secret information. In fact, I openly share so many different things that I do. Today, I even shared that, I drink raspberry tea and I drink it 2 to 3 times a day when I'm getting closer to my period, to help with things like cramping and to help with some of those symptoms that come along with your period. So those things are openly shared. You all can go back. I've been online for more than 10 years talking about weight loss. So there's a plethora of free information out there. But the reason that those of us who are in the functional space do not share specifics is because we don't want to do any harm to you. We have to be careful. We do this professionally, and not every supplement is going to work for every person. So when someone comes on and they work with me, I have a functional registered dietitian that I also work with, and she helps me to analyze and review lab work and to make suggestions based on that. So that's the reason why there isn't like a one-step kind of fix-all solution to this. And I just want you guys to know that if you're following or listening to any other functional practitioners or functional coaches in the space, just know that we're not trying to withhold information from you. We're actually trying to protect you and probably save you some money, because sure, I could give you a list of different supplements that may or may not work depending on your exact hormone imbalance, but it could be a waste of time if you're taking a supplement that you didn't necessarily need or that's not helpful for you because your hormone imbalance may have been in a different area. So that's a wrap for today. If this episode or any of our episodes have helped you, please consider leaving us a 5-star review. You can also take a screenshot and tag us on IG at Worth the Wait Podcast, and we will be sure to repost. I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.